Welcome everyone to the Gym News Show. Today is Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. And today we're going to bring you some updates that we feel are compelling to what the story that's going on in the Suez Canal right now. So most people know that a ship known with the name Evergreen, the size of a sideways Empire State Building, was lodged into the Suez Canal. And just before that, it made satellites track this from multiple, and you can see this from multiple news headings, made a picture of phallic nature, the male appendage here in the Red Sea before entering the Suez Canal, which is about 900 feet in width. Now this ship is 1,300 feet. So it decided to make a phallic male appendage drawing with itself, with the ship. Whoever made that decision, some say it was the captain, the crew. It was remote controlled, hacked, who knows? All we do know is multiple sources are reporting that yes, a phallic male symbol of a male appendage was plotted in the Red Sea. I mean, we're talking a huge member here. And then right after doing that, it decided to go straight in to the Suez Canal, which holds all the trade together between Europe and Asia. It decides to do that, make that picture in the Red Sea, and then come cruising in. And then it slammed itself so hard into the embankment of the canal that it basically blocked trade for a week, which got the world's attention. And that's the point of this show, everyone. Let's focus on the positives that we can take away from this. My take is, it is not a coincidence that this ship magically got blown around by the wind, made a male appendage drawing, a male member drawing in the Red Sea, then cruised up and smashed itself into the wall. I don't care. I don't see it any other way than that's the military telling us we're in control. So relax. And we gotta remember that. And now I'm going to take you over to a site called the Marine Vessel Traffic.com. You can look for yourself right here. Let me see here. You go to marinevesseltraffic.com, go to live maps, marine traffic. Where is the Ever Given ship now? That's the question. Well, it hasn't gone too far. Now, since it was removed from blocking the middle of, or blocking the Suez Canal so that no traffic could go through, no cargo shipments, it hasn't gone very far. If you scroll in, there it is. 16 minutes ago. Right now it's almost 10 p.m. Eastern time. The Evergreen is right there. So you go to yourself, you go for it, look at it yourself. You can click on it. Sometimes you got to zoom in on it. It says status stopped. It's not moving. Where is it? It's in the Great Bitter Lake. Where's the Great Bitter Lake? Well, guess what? It's in the middle of the Suez Canal. So it got stuck in the one place it could only get stuck in to create the mass trade stoppage. That's not a coincidence, in my opinion. Then they unstuck it. Now it's sitting in the middle of the Great Bitter Lake, which if it was on its way to Rotterdam or whatever place that is in the Netherlands, it still had to go up the northern channel of the canal. See how much it had to go to get to the Mediterranean. So it didn't get too far. That's very important to understand. Also, I want to show you something else. It smells like a military op. And I'm going to take you to some guys who would know and who I trust if they did know. But first off, if you go to this site yourself or any one of these free marine vessel tracking sites, I think they all use Google Earth. There is a big black out in the whole channel of that southern part of the Suez Canal. It's black. Look at it. See it? I'm just scrolling through it. Boom, there's the line again. So, oh, come on. I'm going to try to get back up to the top. There was an interesting, they left this one image above the blackout of a ship. And to me, that ship looks very different than a cargo ship, but I don't know. I'm not a Marine. I'm not a merchant Marine or anything. But I will say, if you go to this site or one of these sites that uses Google Earth, you will notice that at certain times you will, because it's a live satellite that's taking pictures, just like as if it was taking pictures of New York City or somewhere where there's people walking around, you're going to see things happening. So you got these ships like this one in real time when that satellite took that picture to update Google Earth. And, I saw this other ship up here not too long ago. Is this the one? I don't know. If you go in there and take pictures, or I'm sorry, if you go in there and occasionally look at I've seen military ships. It's like they don't look like cargo ships, but that's for you to go there and hunt around and look for. All I'm saying is there's been a blackout since the ship Evergreen got stuck. There's been a blackout on Google Earth. Explain that. Remember, the Starlink satellites got launched. If you need to see more about that, see the following show or go to our BitChute channel where we do share stuff that sometimes we don't share on YouTube. And okay, so that's the point of this first part of the show. There's a blackout. Google Earth, go yourself. You can check it out. Google Earth has blocked out that entire channel. It's still blocked out. There could be an entire fleet. I mean, that's miles. There could be tons of military ships in there, handily going through and, inspecting each ship that goes through there. And we wouldn't know. And also the Ever Given sitting right there. Stop. It's not moving on to its destination. The fact that it drew a penis in the Red Sea just before smashing itself into the Suez Canal wall, which was blamed on wind. I mean, come on. Wind? No. So anyway, those are the clues to let you know that there is a lot more going on with this incident than one might think if they're just following the MSN. Now, I'm going to take you to, let's see here, Michael Jaco, and let's hear what he had to say. So as many of you know, Michael Jaco is a former Navy SEAL. Reason why there's a lot of information being shared on beforeitsnews.com, but I want to share with you what Michael Jaco has to say and what Scott McKay has to say, and I'll put those two links in the description now that I know how to do that. So this is Michael Jaco. Now this is him talking before the ship was unstuck, right? So I'm doing this for a reason. Listen to how he's talking about it from somebody who's been in special forces and these type of military operations. Then we'll listen to Scott McKay, who brought us some information after the ship was unstuck. So let's go to Michael Jaco first. Again, former Navy SEAL. he's got a lot of things to do. He's putting all his effort into this information fight, this information battle of truth. I'm a big fan of him. And, in fact, he was one of the guys that said, in order to, you want to see things get resolved faster, when you wake up or you see things that don't make sense, you can't not speak it to your people. You got to stand up for what you believe. Don't just think it's a waste of time. Anyway, that's a story for another time. But if you watch his video, he has a really important message in his videos. And I think if you're not following Michael Jaco, then you need to be. So let's hear what he has to say about the stuck Ever Given ship prior to when it got unstuck.
There's this behemoth. How did this thing get stuck like that? I think it was manipulated. Now, when I first saw this, I'm like, ooh, that's what I used to do. SEAL Team 6, we used to go and control the bridge. Now, if someone went on there and controlled the bridge, they would have spun, the ass end around and hammered it into the side right here at high speed. Even though they have a pilot on there that would have been arguing, no, don't do that. Someone did it, right? Now, was it taken over electronically and manipulated like this at this perfect point in the Suez Canal? I don't know. So, or did someone physically come up and do this? I don't know. So I'm not on board that ship, guys. All I can do is look. I'm an outsider that has been part of these games for many, many, many years. 35 years I played them hardcore. And now, even though I'm not involved, physically in them, I'm able to look at them as a remote viewer and see that, there's something going on here. Now look at these little tiny craft that are like digging up the mud with this massive ship that's buried deep into the mud. So what's going to have to happen here? In my opinion, the cargo containers are going to have to be offloaded, take the weight off this thing so it can float out of there, right? Because it's too deeply stuck. Now, I think it was done on purpose, whether it was done by the white hats in the US, whether it was done by white hats in Russia or whoever. You're like, Russia? I thought they were the bad guys. Yeah, that was manipulation. Hello, Russia, not the bad guys. Someone always has to be the bad guy for the deep state. And so that's their thing. There's no one bad in Russia to the point where they're going to take over the world, right? Anyway, someone did it. Who was it? I think that's part of the reveal coming up.
Okay, so you can see that picture right there. It's true. They showed us, this excavator clawing at the dirt little by little, trying to unstick this ship that was the size of the Empire State Building sideways. Michael Jaco, he's reporting it that he thinks he knows it's definitely intentional, right? He's speculating on what he thinks is going on based on his 30-year career as a Navy SEAL. This is important, but it was interesting how they were just showing this one excavator, and a couple tugboats trying to unstuck this thing. Then all of a sudden, boom, the high tide came and it was unstuck. And maybe that was true, maybe that's not. The point is, as I showed you, it's in the Great Bitter Lake, which is a few miles away from where it was stuck, stopped, which many are saying that the containers are being unloaded right now. And yet we wait to find out. Now let's go over and check out what Scott McKay is saying the day after it got unstuck. So that was what we showed you Michael Jaco saying of when it was stuck, and now let's see what Scott McKay is saying the day after it was unstuck. Now, anyone who knows Scott McKay, and if you're not following him as well, you should be, he has been vetted and he gets, like Michael Jaco, military intelligence. He doesn't get the whole picture, but he gets enough to give it to us, to share it with us, because that's how it's happening. If the mainstream media has to fall because people have to wake up to the truth and decide to turn it off, then they have to get their information from another place. Well, Michael Jaco and Scott McKay are two guys that are great information sources. This will blow you away, I believe, what he's got to say if you haven't already seen this video that was just posted today.
Facts and truths. So it was intentional so they could capture these ships, CST and /HT. And also what they were doing is this was an operation to capture the illegal arms shipments that were going to 100 different locations for.
You hear that? I'm going to rewind that just because it's really important that you guys understand that everything I am seeing is that we have been in a silent kind of covert battle, a war. And so you got to look at things through that lens. Now listen to what he's saying. The reason for the operation was arms going to 100 locations in 5 specific countries.
See the ship's name, whatever. I don't know how much of that stuff is conjecture, is made up, people hearing things passing around. I don't know. All I know is what I get here, which is what I trust, because they're cold hard facts and truths. So it was intentional so they could capture these ships, CST and /HT. And also what they were doing is this was an operation to capture the illegal arms shipments that were going to 100 different locations for an invasion on the Five Eyes nations. One is the United States. You have the UK. You have New Zealand, Australia, and I believe Canada is the other Five Eyes. What does that mean? Five Eyes means when they want to gather intelligence, again, by law, by charter, the CIA is not supposed to gather any intel in the United States on citizens. So that's the law. They violate that every second of the day, as you know. The clowns in America do.
So he's going to explain it further. The Five Eyes makes me think of the eye on the pyramid on the back of the bill, Federal Reserve connected. Basically, 5 countries that work together to spy on the citizens from each other because they can't do it legally on their own citizens. They trade the spying intel with each other. So it's like a way around their constitutions. And he said that this is his intel saying that the shipments had weapons going to 100 locations in these 5 countries.
So what they have done was they formed a pact where if they want to go around the law, this is the kind of shit we have in our government. This kind of scumbags we have that get in here. Is what they do is they allow a foreign government to spy on the people they want spied on, American citizens here, and then pass that intelligence to our intelligence agency. That's how they get around it. The Five Eyes nation that has this pact, UK, Australia, New Zealand, us, and I would believe Canada because that's a crown province. So anyways, there's this here through this access.
So basically, wait, what's he gonna say?
This point is where all these arms are being shipped with 100 different drop-off points.
One more time. Just that last bit.
Canada because that's a crown province. So anyways, there's this here through this access point is where all these arms are being shipped with 100 different drop-off points. Okay. A second reason why they did this is a multi.
Okay, listen to what he said. This Suez Canal is the main corridor to ship these illegal arms to these 5 specific nations that have basically their own versions of the CIA that are the deep state that are working together. The Five Eyes, I think of the eye on the pyramid. And that's what it's all about. If that's true, well, then of course that explains the Navy boys taking over the ship, drawing the phallic symbol of the male appendage in the Red Sea, smashing it head on into the canal bank, having it just miles away right now stopped. You know, the blackout on planet Earth, Google Earth, now it's starting to connect. See, that's how it has to happen. It's like you got to connect the dots. Now I'm going to put the link of these videos in the description, but I'm going to take you up to a different angle or another aspect of what's going on. He talks more, but there's only so much. I want to keep it kind of short here.
It's shutting down the flow of two other things. It means this: they're shutting down the flow of child trafficking and the transport and movement of these vaccines. It's trying to stop them. So what happens is this blockade means this. This means that not only are vaccines obsolete, the arms containers are now all seized, as too thousands of children / humans found both dead and alive. That's what they found on these. Now remember, like children, humans, the vaccines will have expired before their port of entry and customs clearance. Now, how do they expire? Is there an expiration date, or is it because?
Okay, so I'm going to put the link of those two videos in the description, and so that adds more to the picture, more dots. He's saying the containers were seized. If you listen to more of those guys talk, you'll find out that it seems there was multiple operations going on. And if I didn't mention it, when I was checking out the military ships, which you can also do on that Marine Vessel Tracker website, I saw a Russian warship in the Red Sea. I've seen American military ops ships. I've seen French and British warships up in the Mediterranean Sea, and the Russian was in the Red Sea. There's intel hitting the Telegram that the U.S. Navy's conducting exercises in the Red Sea, and that Russia's Navy is blockading the entrance to the Suez Canal in the Mediterranean Sea, as well as U.S. Navy submarine action all throughout that area. So all I'm going to say is those are the facts of the case. Penis pic drawn in the Red Sea, smashed into the wall. You got former Navy SEAL saying this looks like military all over it. You have Google Earth blacking out the entire area, which is uncanny and not in anywhere else. You got Scott McKay saying he's getting direct intel within 24 hours ago saying containers were seized, human trafficking was found, but the main operation was to go after these weapons that were being shipped to these different 100 locations, which apparently they've been doing that for some time. So anyway, I'm going to put those links in the description so you can listen to them yourself in entirety. They're very informative. And so I would suggest doing that. So there you go. For any of you who think that the Suez Canal and the Ever Given ship or that company Evergreen was just all a tease, it wasn't. I don't think it was. There's just too many dots saying the military's all over it. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll keep bringing you stuff as we can. We're also getting our other channels that are not so news oriented up. So look forward to that. It's part of the Good News Network, so to speak. Thank you, all of you, for subscribing. God bless. Stay safe and enjoy your week. Thank you.